Well, I don't know how many of you have heard about this because Exurb1a has hidden this quite well. Well, if you are Exurb1a, don't worry, this is not a biased thing. I'm going to be looking at both sides and giving every viewpoint I can think of on the matter. Also, nice videos, they're very fun to watch. So putting my own biases aside, because obviously I don't want Exurb1a to be a rapist or a sexual abuser, but I'm going to put my biases aside and we're going to look at the only person who has spoke about this, which is the accuser herself. Also, some people seem to think I sound like Exurb1a. I don't. So if you're American, I am not Exurb1a. And if you're not American and you're British, then you can probably tell I'm not fucking Exurb1a. So the accuser, who goes by Photo and Grimes, and she has made lots of blog posts on the topic, but we're going to be looking at one in specific that seems to contain most of the core of the story, and we will be looking at sections of other ones that she's linked in this core part that gives context, and I will link her blog below and her Twitter account along with Exurb1a's YouTube account and Exurb1a's Twitter account, even though he hasn't posted in years. Exurb1a has not been proven guilty and she has not been proven to be correct yet, so don't send hate to either of them. Anyway, enough explaining, let's get on with it. So in 2016 they were working with each other on a documentary, scripts for a movie, a podcast and an experiment. This is important information. She says here he painted himself as a depressed man with no self-esteem. It's very likely he actually was just a depressed cunt with no self-esteem. These are messages she put out of her helping him keep himself motivated for his channel and to not delete it. For a large chunk of this blog post, she talked about how much she helped him keep motivated with his channel and a lot of his creative drive. And while that is going to be important for later on when we step back and look at what's been said, what's been done, right now we don't need to go in full detail. The point is she helped him out a lot with his YouTube channel and staying motivated. Just keep that in mind. Now this is where it gets interesting because Exurb1a and Grimes were collaborating on an experiment which they called Exurb1a. The experiment was them trying to prove the synchronicity, so the yin to the yang essentially. The interesting part is that Exurb1a turns out to be a huge compulsive liar and told her that he worked at the Large Hadron Collider despite never working there. And while he was a huge liar and a cunt because of it, I will say having panic attacks and nightmares about the synchronicities is the dumbest shit ever. Keep in mind I'm going to be looking at both sides, so when I say this, I'm not saying this is what happened, I'm trying to look at it from both sides of her being a liar and her being truthful and Exurb1a being guilty or innocent. These are the building blocks of what I kinda seen could have been a possible motive for her to lie about sexual assault. And this part actually has nothing to do with the whole situation, it's just really fucking funny the way the conversation panned out. A very nice insult, I do like the mockery. And there's videos where she shows how much he lied during this whole thing, which proves he lied a fucking lot. And if I remember, I'll leave the links in the description, and if I don't remember, say, yo, dickhead, leave the links in the description, you forgot, and I'll be like, alright, bet, sorry, my bad, no I won't, I'll tell you to fuck off, and then I'll probably put the links there and say sorry in a few minutes. Because I will feel bad. And they started dating after they met in person in Bulgaria when he apparently got sadistically violent. He also told someone that she was a crazy fan that wanted to date him, and that is clearly not true. And there's also this video where they talk about him being violent, and this is the only real clip where they mention any form of violence.
Apparently, but it's okay, you know, it's your decision. But I'm just telling you, you know, I already was thinking about some stuff last night, and I was just thinking about last week and a couple of other things, and some of the things that happened in the beginning of the week is just the thing that happened in the middle of the week when you got drunk and when you got violent with me. It's the stuff that happened before, like the message from the girl, normal box, like the stuff like close your eyes for a second, imagine me kissing you, and not like giving me any context of that, and not wanting to make me feel like nothing happened by showing me that message. I was fine with that before, but if I add to that in the middle of the week you've been aggressive with me, and I can't let that what happened in the beginning of the week go after what happened after it, because that's just it's before I was okay with it, but if I add the aggressive part, like shaking me and grabbing my wrists and shit and shouting at me, if I combine that with what happened earlier in that message, it's first it was one red flag, and then I thought, I'll just trust you, even though I found it ridiculous that you didn't want to show me what was going on, show me that it wasn't...
I think there were quite good reasons I explained, but yeah, okay.
Okay, so we can see he was aggressive. Still, right, from the evidence we've looked at so far, not sufficient evidence to say he sexually assaulted anyone. There clearly is enough evidence to say he assaulted someone. He assaulted her. Maybe not sexually, but he did assault her while drunk, which being drunk doesn't make it any better. But I will say, from looking at this whole situation, Exurb1a seems like a fucking sad, depressed, alcoholic, broken fucking person. I won't even lie.
Yeah, you explained me the reasons, but I mean, you didn't even want to tell me who it was, and I don't even get why you wouldn't want to do that, because it's someone I'd probably never meet. And then I thought that maybe it's probably someone I actually know by name. I mean, you said it was a German friend. You only have one friend living in Germany right now.
I have a load of friends living in Germany, to be honest.
Okay, but it's a close friend, so it's
Where is this whole thing going?
That interruption right there seems like he was like trying to cut her to the point and not let her make all of her points, so she would cut to the main one, which is kind of fishy. I don't know what they were talking about with him and this friend. Maybe he was cheating or something. I don't know, but it seemed like he planned that while she was talking, and he realised, shit, I need to kind of get out of this, and that was how he got out of having to answer all of her sub-points that were going to build up to her main point.
Are you trying to say something rather definitive?
I don't think you're going to tell me who it was, and I don't think you're going to show me that it's not a sext or anything. And I was okay with that before, but not after what happened during the middle of the week, when you were... when I've seen that part of you where you were like that, and I mean,
okay, I get it.
The fact that you didn't want to tell me, like, I could let that go before, but not after what you did that evening. And it's
yeah, I get it.
So without any doubt about it, he definitely assaulted her in some way. We don't know whether sexually. I feel like if it was sexually, she'd have fucking said, when you raped me. Because if she can be mega fucking public about it and talk to the whole world about it, I don't see why she wouldn't be able to say it herself to him. Like, yeah, that fucking night when you raped me, but no, it was that night when you got really drunk, grabbed my wrist, started shouting at me and getting aggressive. It sounds like he was getting like a bit physically violent, but from what I can gather from this, it doesn't seem like he was being violent sexually. It just seemed like he got drunk and fucking beat a woman, which we've all been there. That's a fucking joke, please don't cancel me, Twitter. Here he talks about being attracted to girls that quote-unquote call him on his bullshit, and that's all he can be attracted to, which just seems edgy, I won't lie. It just seems really fucking edgy. Here she talks about how he was manipulative, and a small example is he shamed her for being upset when he called her bint, bitch, cunt, whore, and hussy. I agree with Alex on this one. Alex is Exurb1a. In the UK, we call people bitch, cunts, pussies, dickheads. It's a friendly thing. It's not an insult. Well, it is an insult. But when you call someone your mates with that, or you're close to, it's not an insult. And it's just part of our culture. And if you get offended by it, you need to stop being offended by it. That's just how it is. Here, she calls this manipulation. I call this he was just very self-aware of how he was and how manipulative he was, and he wanted to stop it, and he was having troubles with it. And to call that manipulation is kind of shallow. Right, you're gonna have to pause and read these next snippets from the blog post. And remember, while these are really fucking scary and fucked up to read, just because someone said it does not make it true. These are still just accusations that have not been proven. She posted screenshots of the chats where he said this, and yeah, that's pretty fucked up, and kinda sus. But also, why would you want him there for your ultrasound? If it was rape and that's how you got pregnant, how do you think that it would be a good idea for him to come and support you at an ultrasound? Why would you even want that? And this is blatant manipulation, even if he didn't sexually assault her, which I'm kind of on the fence about. He definitely did abuse her, and more blatant manipulation. And him trying to save his online identity and taking it the legal route so he could still become a writer. And despite his reasoning, it's a good point, although his reasoning was fucked up as to why he made the point. And more blatant manipulation, but this time it's funny. And more accusations we cannot prove, but if they are true, this cunt sounds like the most fucked up villain ever. Because it's so fucked up, it kind of doesn't sound real. And I mean, obviously there's no proof that it is real. Like, you could tell me Bill Cosby or Epstein did this, and I'd be like, that's too fucked up to be real. Like, it's incredibly fucked up to the point I can't believe this is a thing a human being could possibly even do in any state of mind. He got him basically admitting to everything on video, apparently, so if it did happen, he's gonna get proven guilty if that is true. But that is basically everything, and final conclusions. There's 3 ways I see this panning out. First theory, he was incredibly fucking manipulative, an arsehole, a dickhead, and her way of getting revenge was these accusations. Second theory is the guy is so caught up in his own head and he feels like he has no control over his life because he's gotten so deep into whatever belief he's gotten into that he believes he has no control over his fate, that nothing is real, nothing matters, everything is so relatively fucking small and nothing will ever be significant, and he's got that idea so stuck in his head that he's having such an existential crisis that he has no fucking power over his life, that the only power he feels like he can get is through raping people, which he allegedly did. And then finally, right, and this is getting to like conspiracy theory level, to understand this, go click the video titled Dear Soren in the description and watch it from the timestamp I've made it start at, and then you'll get an idea of what this theory is. Okay, so now you've watched it, what if this was all planned out, right, to be some huge fucking meta, like, alternate reality game? Like, it was all a big fucking plan, right? And none of this is real, it's all been made up for the sake of a story arc. Probably not that last one, but I don't know which one's true, to be honest. I honestly could not say it, and neither can any of you, right? You gotta keep that in mind. When looking at this situation, you gotta assume that she's telling the truth, but also that he's innocent until proven guilty. My final comment is that Exurb1a, your face makes you very easy to hate. You just look really punchable. Your voice without the face is like chill, it fits well, but with the face you look like a snobby rich cunt that I want to clock. And no, that's not me taking sides, that's just what I thought when I saw his face. I had to consciously remind myself you cannot just realise that someone is a bad person based off their looks, because, you know, it was very easy just to say, yeah, he's definitely a guy who would do that. Because he looks like the guy you would, I won't lie.